Hey folks, Dave, the Not So Evil Viking 13, today bringing you guys some DayZ update news. It is time for a Christmas update, coming in experimental 0.52 and actually out right now. This is one of the most extensive experimental patches that we've gotten since the hunting and survival update back in May. So I'm going to start things out by giving a shout out to the guys over at r/DayZ for all of their hard work compiling the changes in the unofficial experimental changelog thread. And then I'm going to go through some of the major changes in this patch. Not only is 0.52 an absolutely massive patch that I'm going to try to dig into and break down for you guys, but the devs are trying to get it out to stable in time for Christmas, at least in time for everyone leaving for Christmas break, so that we can play with it on the main servers while they're gone. First up, let's talk about some serious overhauls to the gameplay. The missing gunshot sounds have apparently been fixed, so no longer will you take fire and get no warning except for the impact that you might not even notice as you're running around in Chernarus. Additionally, because the developers have now fixed that sound bug, they have been able to add suppressors back to the game and actually have them functional. You can find pistol and NATO as well as Russian style suppressors for a variety of rifles, including everything from the MP5 to the AKs to of course the M4s and the 1911 pistols. I have managed to find a few suppressors, but no weapons for them yet, but I'm extremely excited to have them back. Stealth weapons are definitely my style. Speaking of style, the DayZ devs brought some with this patch just in time for Christmas. They've added some gigantic abandoned apocalyptic Christmas trees to the major cities on the map. I love how they didn't just break the fourth wall for this kind of Christmas patch event, and these trees actually looked like they were placed before the apocalypse happened. They're dead and brown, the ornaments are kind of falling off and the lights are barely hanging on to the tree, but all around them are teddy bears in a multitude of different colors, and each teddy bear, at least as the servers go online, has a present inside of it, just a single slot of loot inside of that teddy bear. My second spawn on Experimental placed me almost next to the giant Christmas trees in Cherno, and I helped myself to whatever I could carry and grab suppressors, 5.56 ammo, magnum ammo, a can opener, and all kinds of awesome stuff from underneath the DayZ Christmas tree. Well done, DayZ devs. This is a very fun Christmas update that also just really fits in with the world, and that's just a really cool idea for sure. Going back to gameplay changes, a long-awaited feature is finally in-game. We saw it last December in the trailer. You can now finally commit suicide, and the reason it took so long was they've made it so that you can commit suicide with a variety of objects and weapons, and a lot of the animations are pretty chilling. To begin the animation, you put an object into your hands like a pistol or even a rifle or a shotgun, or anything from a kitchen knife to a screwdriver to even just a sharpened stone knife that you created right there on the beach as you spawned in. You put the object in your hands, and then you press, it's by default F11 to start the suicide animation. You get down on your knees, you place the object up to your head, and then you click to confirm that you do want to actually kill yourself. Like I said, the animations are dramatic and honestly really brutal. Now, my recordings for some reason, even in third person, were not picking up any of the animations, but I've seen some other people who kill themselves with hunting knives or kitchen knives, and the knives especially are like cringeworthy. I mean, I had to actually wince a bit the first time I saw it, even without any kind of blood effects or anything. It like stabs them in the neck and then you twist it, and it's just, like I said, just really brutal. Oh no, zombies, and all I have is teddy bears. I think this ability to commit suicide inside of the game environment with an actual animation will be a little bit less ridiculous looking than people constantly just jumping off of buildings. Even if someone has just spawned in somewhere and wants to respawn and kill themselves with a rock or something, if you witness that, it's still going to be a bit disturbing. Whereas if I saw people jumping off of buildings, I always thought it was rather amusing. Probably just because they do the video game thing where they run in midair. How about some new gardening and horticulture upgrades to go with your Christmas suicide? You can now actually create a little garden anywhere on the map as long as it's mostly flat, and they've added some new seeds including pumpkin seeds, which I found in Starry Sobor. With a hoe or a shovel, you can till the land and add some fertilizer if you want to, add your seeds, and in some cases you'll have to actually water your plants and then wait for them to grow. I planted some pumpkins to test the new system out, and while I was looking for some fertilizer, I actually found one of the new VS3s. There are now 4 or 5 different colors of VS3s, and their spawn rate has increased. I found this kind of gray-white VS3, drove it back to my garden, and added some more fertilizer and whatnot to it, and before too long, in about, I'd say 15 minutes total, I had some nice fresh pumpkins. I did make the mistake of attempting to eat the entire pumpkin all at once despite being somewhat well fed, and of course immediately stuffed myself. Overall, I found the gardening updates to be really intuitive and definitely just a lot of fun for any survivors that want to get out of those main cities, maybe once persistence is locked down, establish a campsite, and really just try to survive for as long as possible on your own. As ridiculous as it sounds in a video to say, man, I had a lot of fun gardening in a simulator about the apocalypse, it just really grounded the whole experience. It's the kind of thing that you would expect to see on shows like The Walking Dead, and anything that adds that grounding, that realism back to DayZ is something that I'm going to get excited about, even if it is just gardening. So that's fixed gunshot sounds, correctly working suppressors, more VS3 truck types and spawns, expanded horticulture, gardening, and all that jazz, suicide, and of course the Christmas updates. That's not bad for a 2-week experimental patch, but that, believe it or not, is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm just going to fire off a list of some of the other stuff in this patch because it is extensive and just incredibly impressive for a kind of 1-year Christmas celebration patch for the DayZ Alpha. Just in time for Christmas, the middle finger taunt has been replaced with the heart symbol made with your hands. The map has been expanded with a number of impressive new areas that I really just don't want to spoil for you guys. There's, I believe, 8 or 9 total, including some new buildings that I haven't even seen yet, so go out there if you're trying this patch out, or once it hits stable, and definitely go exploring and find some of those new areas. As promised, there are now full entering and exiting animations for the truck, that VS3 truck. These look really good in both first and third person, and should make attempted Grand Theft Auto a lot more exciting. You also have to open and close the door before you get in or out of the vehicle. For new loot, how does the chainsaw sound? Yes, we saw that in last year's trailer as well, and with the new fuel system and animation system in place, it is finally spawning. I haven't found it myself, but I have heard that it's a little bit glitchy, but it is nice to see it in-game at last. Other new weapons include the reintroduction of the Atlas bipod, the hockey stick, a sword, the hunting knife, a new flare, which I think should go into the flare gun, but I don't know if anyone's actually found that yet, and there's also a meat cleaver. Speaking of the knives, if you fillet an animal, they will actually produce a pile of warm guts and innards now. It's a pretty intense looking model and texture. Once again, luck was not with me though, and although I did manage to skin and quarter a deer, it never actually completed and I couldn't actually get anything off of it. As long requested, you can now take any gun scope and put it into your hands and use it as a single binocular. We've also seen the beginning of trash spawns returning, which I loved in the DayZ mod, even though I also love good loot, just because it mixed things up in the spawn tables. There is a new prisoner top and pants, as well as a prisoner cap, a definite good sign that that new prison complex is on the way, maybe even in the near future, we'll have to see. The Bombardier jacket is now in game, and I found that one pretty early on, and I was really mad when zombies ruined it because it looks really cool. I had it in green, but people have also found it in blue and a few other colors as well. You can now cut seeds from the bell peppers, and I believe plant them, but I have not been able to try that myself. There is a full ghillie suit that you can now craft, and for those of you that are still trying to roam the roads in the new VS3 trucks, you can at last actually attach the jerry can to them. Well, that covers the major updates that have been discovered by the community so far. I'm sure there's more in there that we haven't found yet, but just from what you guys can see right here, that's an impressive patch. Just the fix for gunshot sounds alone, where they would occasionally not render for some clients, would have been welcomed by, I think, everyone as a Christmas present, but the team has gone all out, and their hard work is really showing here. Although I initially set out just to play for an hour or two to try out the new features, I ended up playing for like almost 5 hours and just having a blast even on my own. I did some farming, some exploring, some driving, and of course, in the end, after I got my VS3 stuck on a stone wall while heading northwest, I had to end it all by surrounding myself with my teddy bear friends, grabbing my knife, and then apparently skipping the animation and cutting to black in dramatic fashion. Well guys, that's your look at 0.52. I hope you had fun watching this. I definitely had fun making it. If you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe and stick around for more DayZ and other PC gaming content, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.